I'm
grade.
okay, actually. You can keep them. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. As a single mom of 3 school-aged children and a former 8th grade teacher, I know how important it is that kids learn in the classroom and that we encourage their curiosity. Many members of this committee are also parents, and we all want what is best for our kids. We want them to feel supported and capable. We want them to be learning and be able to attain good, high-paying jobs in the future. Where we as parents can't reasonably teach our kids everything, we of course rely on our communities, including after-school programs and sports, to help fill in the gaps. We rely on our school to help our children learn. And working parents like me rely on educators to keep our kids safe so that we can do our jobs. We're here today to discuss our nation's K-12 public education system. And it's true that in many communities, our elementary and secondary schools barely get a passing grade. I am concerned, though, that over the next hour or more, my colleagues will be more interested in pointing fingers than in fixing problems, more interested in looking backwards than in looking forward. 2 of the fingers that are being pointed are at COVID-19 school closures and then at so-called woke programs that indoctrinate students. Look, none of us, least of all me, miss the days of Zoom school with people yelling about who's taking up the bandwidth and who's using the iPad right now. It sucked. It was terrible for parents. It was terrible for teachers. And most of all, it was terrible for kids. There's no doubt that COVID-19 disrupted learning. Many kids missed out, and there is a real learning recovery that we need to be focusing on. So I'm not arguing with my Republican colleagues about that point. But the reality is that even before COVID-19 reached our shores, and long before Republicans made critical race theory a rallying cry, K-12 achievement was less than outstanding, less than where it needed to be for us to have a strong, stable, globally competitive economy. In 2019, our national K-12 achievement score was a C. I'll say it again, a C. If we're serious about solutions, we have to start with the facts and look at the real reasons that kids are struggling. There's a long history of unequal and inadequate funding for public education that has not set our kids up for success, and I fear, and I think we need to be careful not to devalue the hard work of teachers. We need to not paint them as agents of indoctrination. Instead, we need to be acknowledging their partnership in raising our kids. We should be using this hearing to discuss solutions and support our states and localities in fully funding K-12 schools, including what we need to be paying our teachers to recruit the next generation of educators. That's how we're gonna achieve better outcomes for students. So I want to encourage my Republican colleagues today to look forward, to look for solutions to the problems rather than looking at the past, and to really have a collaborative approach on what we can do to make a difference. Not just pointing fingers at Democrats or at progressive policies, but instead asking what are the best policies for our kid, period, regardless of which side of the aisle they're coming from. Whining about left-wing ideologies, that's not going to bring us closer to solving the challenges of K-12 education. So if we really want to address problems in our school system, we're going to need to take a closer look at how our education system is funded, how things have changed post-pandemic, and we need to uplift data-driven strategies that are working to educate kids. Elementary and secondary education matters to all of us. Whether your kids are out of school, whether you've never had kids, whether you're glad to see them go in the morning, we all benefit from having a strong educational system where kids are safe to focus on learning. And to get there, we need to find the solutions and make sure that we are adequately funding them. So with that, again, I thank our witnesses. I look forward to your testimony, and I yield back.